Shalom, friends. It's been a little while. Today I am going to talk about birth story number 4. That's my Madeline. Madeline, my pregnancy for Maddie was very smooth. I've been very blessed with most of my pregnancies, not really having many problems. A couple towards the end, I think. I get the morning sickness in the beginning, but that's pretty typical. So that's good. She must have been late. I really can't remember, although I know that I had my membranes thinned, which is not something that they do unless it's past the due date typically. So yeah, I had my membranes thinned, and then Aaron and I, we went to, so thinning the membranes, it's just a natural way to help bring on labor, which is nice, not to have any drugs. After we had our appointment, we went to, it was like an afternoon appointment, probably like 2 o'clock or something. Then we went to Dairy Queen, and we hung out, just the 2 of us, and ate some blizzards. And like, my contractions started very shortly after I had my membranes thinned. So man, my body really kicked into it as soon as that happened. I remember, like, I was just walking really slowly, holding my belly. People probably thought, I'm gonna have this baby any second. So we hung out and had ice cream, and then we came home, and Aaron's parents were in town since we were gonna have a baby, and our grandmother was there as well, Aaron's grandma. And so my mother-in-law and my grandma took our van and went out. They went to do some shopping, and Aaron and I were watching a movie, and I was very determined that I was going to stay home and labor as long as possible. I didn't want to stay in the hospital and labor there. I wanted to labor at home, just go there and have the baby. And that's what happened. I stayed home. We were watching a movie, and I was having contractions during the movie. And Aaron was asking, I was trying to think what movie it was. I think it was called Ray, like Ray Charles or something, about a singer. So Aaron kept asking me, should I tell my mom she should come home so that we can go to the hospital? And I kept telling him no. So finally I told him, yeah, tell her to come home so we can go to the hospital. So as soon as Aaron's mom and grandma came to our house, we left right away. And by the time we got to the hospital, well, I mean, the whole time, really, the labor went so quickly. It was insane. I have never experienced anything like that. It was just like one contraction practically after another. We got to the hospital, and a nurse who was outside smoking, she saw me, and so she came in to help us right away, and she made sure we had a wheelchair, and she was wheeling me up to labor and delivery. And she says to me, I thought you were going to have that baby outside. Because it was time. And my midwife got there, and they when we got there were no clean rooms. They just finished cleaning a room, which was good because I couldn't wait. And so we got in the room, the midwife got there, and she kept on getting phone calls because she left from a dinner to come to the hospital. And so she told me after the baby was born, you almost had that baby without me, because she had to go answer her phone and figure out what was going on, I guess. So yeah, my Maddie, I told Erin when I was at the hospital going through contractions, I said, I'm not even getting a break in between these contractions. This is so hard for me. Normally I could at least regroup my thoughts and feel prepared for the next contraction, but it was just like contraction, contraction, contraction. It was really crazy. That was kind of hard. People think a fast labor is good. I imagine it was probably hard on Maddie as a baby to go through that. But it was really hard, even though the labor was really quick. I would not choose to do that again. I would rather the labor be longer. Certainly not like an insanely long labor, but long enough where I have breaks in between my contractions so I could feel like I'm sane. But so she came, my delivery was, I had no problems delivering her, thankfully. Baby number 2 and baby number 3, I had difficulty delivering. So with Madeline, I had no problem delivering Maddie. I don't remember what she weighed. My birth certificates are in our fire safe, and they're very safe there because I don't know where my keys are. So I don't know what she weighed, but most of the kids were around 8 pounds. So yeah, that's my Mad. After I have the baby, you know, the nurses, they always offer me pain meds, and I refuse all the time. I never feel like I need them. My healing is unbelievable. I feel like I have the baby and then I feel normal. Like, I don't feel like I had a baby. And I wonder why everyone needs the pain meds. Like, I don't know, is their experience that much different than mine? I don't know, because I only know my experiences. But I feel fine. My healing went totally fine. Always happy to get home after being at the hospital. With Mad, I call her Mad sometimes, we were going to name her Trinity, and I had the birth certificate filled out for her, and I called the birth certificate office at the hospital so they could pick up the form. And they did not come to pick it up, which really worked out good, because then Erin came in the evening and we discussed it more, and we decided that we do not want to name her Trinity. So I had to cross out Trinity on the birth certificate, and we changed it to Madeline. So she's our Madeline, and that is her name. I'm really glad that we were able to change it. So really nothing, I would say, I mean, like, I don't know, nothing too out of the ordinary other than my contractions, my labor being super fast, and we almost didn't make it to the hospital with that one. I was so intent on I wanted to wait until it was time. I didn't want to stay in the hospital. I just don't want to stay in the hospital. So I wanted to labor at home as long as possible, and I definitely did that. So yeah, good we didn't have her in the van or anything like that. That would have been crazy. So yeah, that kind of stinks though, I think, when it comes to labor and delivery, that when you are experiencing such pain and really trying to focus on your task, that you have to go from being at home to driving. And like, I remember with that, Erin driving over bumps and potholes, and that was a little rough on me. So that's kind of inconvenient. That makes me think like, man, I just want to stay at home and deliver the baby and not drive to the hospital, because I don't want to go to the hospital early and do all my laboring at the hospital. I don't want that. That would make me miserable. And I don't want to drive to the hospital when I'm about to have the baby either. That's no fun. So that's all. That's our Madeline. So she's a blessing to us, and we're really thankful to have her, as we are each and every one of them. And I guess that's all. Shalom.
Shalom, friends. Aaron here. Just got finished watching Theresa's video recounting birth story number 4, daughter number 2, Madeline. And I just wanted to say that in this one, I don't feel like I have any real additional insights. Certainly nothing that she didn't remember. I think it's more just my agreeing. I was trying to figure out why we waited to go to the hospital. My mother and father and my grandmother were here visiting at that time, if I recall correctly. So my father should have been there with us, because I'm almost positive, as Theresa said, it was my mother and grandmother that went out shopping. I don't think my mom was using the GPS, just went on the directions I'd given her to go to the store. So I kind of wonder if she got lost, because by the time we called her, it sure did seem to take a long time for her to get there. But Theresa, being in the labor she was having, certainly made it seem like it was a long time. And a couple years after Madeline was born, I had totally redone the suspension on that particular van that we had, and that thing rode beautiful. It was pretty good then, but not as nice. And so we were living in the city at that time, and the city does not have good roads. And so you can do all you want to try to avoid potholes and stuff. It's not happening. So she almost made it sound like I was hitting bumps on purpose. I was doing my best. But when we pulled up, we could have taken my work van or something. Maybe she just didn't want to ride in the work van. Anyway, when we pulled up, there was a nurse outside, and I'd actually forgotten that she was out there smoking. And a quick aside, I was just listening to Theresa say that, and it ticked me off, because I feel like everybody's got a right to do whatever they want to do. I mean, I smoked when I was in my early 20s. I quit, and since I quit, I have a real sensitivity to cigarette smoke. I mean, and smelling it on people's clothing really bothers me. And obviously, people are asthmatics and things like that. I feel like it's just irresponsible if you're going to be like a cook, a server, a doctor, a nurse, especially, or how about like a pediatrician or something, and you're going to be outside smoking. I mean, that gets on you. That gets on your clothes. And I'm telling you, somebody like me, I can smell you a mile away if you've been smoking and you're wearing the same clothes. So it makes me think I wish I didn't have to go park the van when I dropped her off, because I would have probably given that nurse a little push out of the way and told her I'll wheel Theresa up. But anyway, they cleaned the room just in time. We got in there, and the baby, Madeline, she came pretty soon after. And I wanted to say that I definitely remember that Theresa's contractions were really intense, something very different than anything she'd experienced before or after. And I mean, by baby number 4, I'd gotten pretty good at reading the monitors, with the monitoring the contractions in the belly and the heart monitor. And not only did the contractions, really, it was like literally one ended and the next one started. I mean, literally. There was like no time in between. The way they would look, kind of like building up to the peak of intensity and kind of coming back down. These were just like up, down, up, down, up, down. So I think even within each contraction, Theresa didn't have time to deal with them. And then it's a small thing, but I'm paying attention. By baby number 4, I'm in a pretty good routine as to what she needs from me, and just paying attention to for a little while her breathing gets off, just getting up, going by her, and putting my face where she can hear me and just breathing the way she should breathe, and she picks up on that. Just holding her hand. Or obviously it's a great physical challenge and she gets to the point where maybe she's feeling like she can't do it. How much longer is it going to be? And just to offer some encouraging words at that point, of course, in between contractions. And man, I felt like I didn't have that opportunity at all because there was like literally no time in between the contractions. And so, yes, I think that it is definitely good that the labor was over quickly because of its intensity. It was obviously very difficult on Theresa. She's not kidding. It was hard for her. There's literally no breaks. But I remember watching, there was some issues, not issues, but Madeline's heart rate would really change kind of dramatically during the real intense contractions, and it wouldn't really recover to where it should be before another one hit. And so she was fine, but it was definitely stressful for baby to have those contractions pushing her out, one right after another, so hard. And I don't know how much of that she could take, so it's good that it was not longer. And yeah, Theresa did not have any difficulty actually delivering Madeline, which was wonderful. And I've been witness to Theresa's healing from all of these different deliveries that she had and different types of deliveries. And she really has been blessed. So I'm grateful for that. She probably wouldn't say it, and I don't mean this to say that anybody else isn't, but I just know that she is, and so that's all I mean by it. She's really a strong person, and not one to, she's not looking for a way out of what she needs to do. And she can bear quite a bit. So there's no question that her healing has been special. God's really blessed her in that way. She's also a very tough person. And our daughters, our sons too, but our daughters who are much like their mother, they definitely get those traits from her. And I'm just reminded as I consider that Madeline, although she's very different than our oldest daughter Isabel, does remind me in three ways in particular of her older sister, and then in that to their mom. And that's that all of them are really tough people. Really tough people. They're also sensitive people, and they're super thoughtful people. And so Madeline, she's very special to us, and we're very grateful to have her. So, next birth story, hopefully much sooner. And we've been busy. Hopefully we'll share a little bit about what's going on and make some other videos here in the near future. But we wanted to get this one up. So, birth story number 4 in the books, and we'll get into 5 next. And there's some interesting things coming up. This is one of the least eventful ones, thankfully. She has some of those. Anyway, shalom, friends.